Hello, my name is Jacqueline Gunn. As you might already know, I am the owner of Trail to Darling Gardens in Walpole, New Hampshire. I first wanted to thank you for granting me the money that was used to starting up this farm and efforts to feed hungry people out there. So, Trail to Trail to Darling Gardens is a little bit different than traditional gardens. This is a forest garden. A little bit more about our garden. You can trek, drive, or wander your way onto the Trail to Darling Gardens, where you not only can find a wonderful lean-to stay, you can replenish yourself with nutritious fruits and veggies from our forest garden in exchange of labor. No prior gardening skills necessary, all are welcome. Our most important value is our knowledge, and with it we can support the community. From teachings about soil, fertility, crop rotation, and green manure, to cooking healthy, easy meals for a family of 5 or just a party of 1, to canning and preserving our own garden, and then down to composting. We strive to do better for our people through skill exchanges because we all deserve a better quality of life in a time where chemicals are now consuming most consumers' plates. Through our teachings, we aim to lessen the greenhouse gas emissions, feed our community, and provide a healthier mind, body, and soul. We believe in permaculture being a way of life where you can access the rebuilding and healing on the inner landscape while working on the outer landscapes. Part of the battle when fighting food insecurity is learning how not to waste. Trail to Darling Gardens not only grows fresh produce for the table, but grows the community's knowledge through cooking, farming, and tackling food waste courses. Our farm can be accessed via trail route where backpackers can come and use our wilderness hostel with lean-tos and outdoor showers and can be used in exchange for volunteer work. Our farm can also be accessed via Route 123, New Hampshire, where everyone is welcome. If you do not want to offer your volunteer work in exchange of food, we also sell our produce as well, and the fundings go to our community farm, and then we also are able to give a lot of our crops out. So, basically, the idea of a food forest is that there are 7 layers. You've got your canopy, your low tree layer, your shrub layer, your herbaceous layer, soil surface, root layer, vertical layer. Food forests are amazing for the ecosystem. Provides a lot. Trees provide a lot of carbon dioxide and cleanses the air, and you can do a lot of different things. In my farm, I have trees and grapes. In this, you can see you've got your canopy tree, and you get your 7, your vertical layer right here. Those are my grapes that wrap around the trees. I haven't incorporated a lot of this other stuff, but as a work in progress. I've got my shrub layer with berry bushes, and I have blueberry bushes around the farm as well. So it's just basically you're incorporating the way nature really intended to grow food into gardening as well. A food forest is also called a forest garden. It is a diverse planting of edible plants that attempts to mimic the ecosystems and patterns found in nature. Food forests are 3-dimensional designs with life extending in all directions, up, down, and out. This is what Trail to Darling Gardens used to look like prior. It was a plot of land. You can tell that there's lots of sun going in on here. We do have a lot of shade coming in on this direction. It's not terrible because, as I said, I am part of working with nature and the ecosystem. But in this area right here, we have our lean-tos now. This is an aerial plot map that I used in the beginning. These are my trees. I've got pears and apples. There's a lot more other trees as well. We have our blueberry bushes. These are walnuts. We have a few shrubs. These are the lean-tos, as I said before. This is where they are now. It's nice to use the space, especially since it would have been hard to grow a crop block here. It's nice to use it in exchange of labor, in exchange of food. There's the showers over here. My crop blocks are 10 feet wide by 8 feet long. In terms of crop rotation, I'm going to show you my Google Sheets, and we're going to go over to our crop rotation. So it's important to focus on crop rotation because you want to make sure that the soils are going to be healthy. Soil fertility is very important in adding nutrients into the crops. So a healthy crop rotation increases soil nitrogen, improves the physical condition of the soil, so you're not going to have soil erosion, and then you're also not going to have too many issues with weeds and insects and disease. I have a very small crop block, so it was really hard to work with it and try to make sure that each year that they complemented the next. And I did try my best to do that. However, it wasn't the easiest. So in the New Organic Grower by Elliot Coleman, he discusses how sweet corn makes for a really good yield in sweet potatoes the next year. You want to do root crops and then beans, and then after beans you want to do tomatoes, and then pumpkins and gourds are good for root crops. So not everything in this it complements each other, but another thing that you want to make sure you're not doing is you don't want something in the same family following in any of the other years. So you don't want carrots and herbs in any of these other years, and you don't want something the Fabaceae family popping up in year 5 when you've had it in year 2. There's a lot of trial and error going on as well. So it's, we don't know fully if this is, so hopefully we don't mess up and put something and deplete the nutrients in the soil, because it can totally ruin a crop block. On to my planting calendar. You're going to see here that on this side, this is where I started my seeds in my greenhouse. Started kale in my greenhouse. I'm going to start tomatoes in my greenhouse, onions in my greenhouse, gourd mix in my greenhouse, as well as peppers. These, if you don't see a seed date here, these are where I just directly sowed in my crops. These are the amount of seeds that I needed per cell. Next, we're going into the plant map template. So this is where it gets a little complicated, hopefully not too complicated, but it's a very complex system. Again, I am working with a very small crop block, so it was very difficult, but most of my important things are perennial, I mean. So prior to this planting year, I put in a winter rye cover crops that were sowed in early October. I do have chickens on my farm that I incorporate, which is really essential because it also improves soil quality. So I go and let them go in and graze, and they also, so the cover crop feeds them, and in exchange they poop out and sorry, excuse me, they leave their manure everywhere, which makes really great soil. Then I compost and mulch it. Then I start my sowing with my seeds. And then over here, um, I am growing carrots, so it's really important to have a looser soil. Some carrots like a sandy soil, but for my Starburst carrot blend, they just want like a loose soil. Like they don't like it too sandy or anything. But different carrots like different types of loose soil. So I go in and I'm gonna put in a fish emulsion blend, loosen up with a broad fork, and sow in my seeds. You want to make sure you're also not transplanting carrots because it's kind of difficult to do so. So direct seeding. Also with my carrots, I am doing succession planting, and it helps with when you're harvesting them. You get them week after week. So I succession planted my carrots like 1 week after the other. Companion planted them with my parsley, chives, and onions. This also helps with diseases and pests. I started lavender, mint, basil, and green garlic to companion plant with my peas and beans. It was good to add limestone into my soil as well to improve it. And then over here in the fall, I have my spinach. I terminated my pea crop, undersowed a cover crop of clover within my beans, and added my tarp killed off my peas after I harvested them, I put in spinach. And then after my spinach, I put in a winter rye vetch. And the winter rye vetch mix is very good in improving soil quality. You want to make sure they're your green manure cover crops, basically. Alrighty, and then this is my seed order. This one's pretty self-explanatory. So we've got our lettuce. I needed 24 seeds. The high mowing. I used Johnny seeds for this. I used Johnny seeds and high mowing seeds, and so I needed 24 seeds, and their lowest smallest package was 250, and it was a $6.70 cost. So seeds are pretty good. Some seeds were a little bit more expensive than the others, but then they're more worth it in the end. One of my favorite things about my farm is, let me show you in a minute. One of my most important things and most proud of is the color variety of certain fruits and vegetables that I have. So I have the Starburst carrot Scarlet Nates. They're a sweeter kind of nice. They're a sweeter carrot, but they're also full of a lot of good nutrients, as well as being able to preserve them pretty well. So preserving and canning and jarring is another aspect into my community farm, teaching people how to do that. It's very important. Then we don't have any food waste. These are my beans. I personally love purple beans, and I think they have a really great flavor, but then you also have a mix of green, and I feel like it adds like a good market value, economically sense wise.